John, I suppose I'll start by asking upon further review, looking at the film, just your thoughts on maybe from an X's and O's standpoint, what your team was able to accomplish yesterday, and maybe a thought on the magnitude of that win.
Yeah, I think it's it's one win, and I thought the guys really prepared well during the week and played hard. And I think fundamentally we were stronger this past week, and we just continue to grow in that area because it's necessary, right, Adam, to throw and catch well, block, tackle well, and take care of the football. I thought we were strong in those areas.
I guess my follow-up would be, I was doing our live shot early yesterday. It was a crew from, I believe it was Boston, a few feet away from us. And I heard the guy say it's the biggest game in the post-Tom Brady era. And that was from a Boston perspective. Look, the division hasn't even been decided yet at this point. But do you understand that narrative, and what's your reaction to it? Because your team will hear that this week as well, too, I'm sure.
Yeah, I understand, where people are coming from on that. And, I think that the biggest game for us is this coming week, quite honestly. That's where we're at in our season. And this is a good football team coming in here in the Atlanta Falcons. And they've got a quarterback that's seen a lot of ball over the years, and certainly a good football team. So,
all right, thank you, Sean.
Yeah, sure, Adam.
Hey, Sean, how's it going?
Good. How are you?
Good, thanks. I guess I'll kind of start with the obvious here. What did you see from Isaiah McKenzie yesterday that impressed you the most, really?
Yeah, he makes those plays in practice, but I think, just catching the football, the fundamental part of it, he brings energy all the time to our football team, and he gets separation, and but some of those catches were really, really good catches, and really good balls by Josh too, in terms of where he placed them, and to where only Isaiah could get them. So I thought the execution was at a high level.
And, kind of along the lines of what you were just asked, when you start hearing these scenarios about the magnitude of this game and, that clinching is in play, do you have to work maybe a little extra hard as a team to stay focused on this week, being that there's so much being talked about?
Well, I mean, if that's something that tends to, I think self-awareness is important. So if that's something that tends to cause someone to lose their focus, then yes, 100%. This is part of the job where there's going to be noise, whether it's really positive or really negative, and you got to learn to ignore it and do your job at a high level. And that'll be part of our focus this week.
Awesome. Thanks, Sean.
Sure.
Hey, Sean, look, I know players make the plays on the field, and that's, talked about. But what can you say about what Brian Daboll and his performance was yesterday? 0 punts against a Bill Belichick defense had never been done before. What can you say about his job?
Yeah, I thought he did a phenomenal job. Called a really good game. Offense executed at a high level, and I thought the offensive staff collectively did a great job.
Is there any COVID updates that you could provide for us? Any surprises?
Just one update. Cam Lewis is now on the COVID list as of today. That's it.
Thanks
as far as I know. So, yeah.
Thanks, Coach.
Sure.
Coach Mookie Hawkins, Buffalo Sports 1080. How you doing today?
Good, Mookie. How are you?
I'm good, Coach. I'm good. Now or never approach on 4th down. Was that, part of the game plan in reference to, keeping your team physical against New England? And care to talk about how well Deion played? Last time we saw him, he was pancaking Matt Judon somewhere. So care to talk about those 2 instances, Coach?
The first one is the 4th downs. Is that what you're talking about?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. I thought our offense did a really good job moving the football and executing all the way down the field, and we had some opportunities where we wanted to go for it on 4th down, and then they executed well. I mean, those are important situations for us to execute in, and really happy to see the level of play in those situations in particular. Deion's play, I thought, coming off of COVID was good to see. It's a step in the right direction to getting him back, and this week will be another step, and continuing for him to take his play to another level each and every week for us as we go here.
Yes, sir. And how were you able to dictate tempo or playing aggressive and forcing New England to play keep up? And how does that one not done attitude will keep these guys playing with a chip on the shoulder the remainder of the season?
Again, I just think it's one game. I think it's situationally specific, and I thought our guys executed. So real proud of them for that.
Good luck this week, Coach. Good job.
All right, thank you. Appreciate it.
Hey, Sean, it's Jay with Buffalo News. I apologize. I jumped on a minute late. Is there any update you can give us on Star? I know he was out with a personal issue. So I know I'm not asking specifics, but just in general, do you know if he's back with the team? Do you expect to have him back with the team this week? Anything like that?
Yeah, I don't have anything specifically at this point, Jay. So I'll let you know the next time I come around here if I have something more for you.
Okay. In regards to yesterday, obviously the situation with Ike seemed to be, probably season ending. He had a few other guys go out of the game. Seemed like they all were able to come back in. Do you know of any lingering issues with injuries from the game for any of those guys?
I don't. Just the Ike situation, as you mentioned, and hard to see any player go down. Ike's put so much into this, and he's so well liked by our team and his teammates. I just feel for him. My heart goes out to him and his family.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks, Sean. Happy New Year.
Yeah, you too.
Good afternoon, Sean. Ryan Bates, I don't have the actual stat in front of me, but I'm pretty sure he's played either in preseason or regular season every position for you guys since he's been here. And then, in the game on Sunday, you start him on the right side, have to shift him to the left side. I mean, what can you say about the job that he does, the way that he approaches his craft and his ability to kind of do all of those things, and how he played on Sunday?
Yeah, he's one of the first ones in the building, Matt, every day. I think he's got great process, great habits, great routine, and that sets him up for success. And it's great to see when a player or a person puts so much time into it and continues to work at it, remain patient or as patient as possible, and then sees the fruits of their labor come to fruition, right, in terms of what he was able to do yesterday.
And I'm just curious, obviously you guys have been shuffling the deck all season long on the line. Is part of the reason he didn't get in until this week because of his ability to play center?
There's various reasons. I'm not going to get into why he hasn't played, but various reasons. Just super proud of the way he's persevered and super proud of his attitude. And he's a team first guy, and I got a lot of respect for that.
Thanks, Sean. Appreciate it.
Yep.
Hey, Sean, AJ Feldman here at the CBS station in Rochester. Isaiah McKenzie is a big personality, kind of wears his heart on his sleeve. We saw him get a little down before that Saints game when he was inactive. How have you seen him react to the success that he had yesterday, and how do you expect him to, build on that going forward here in the season?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's natural that he was disappointed, and really loved the way he handled it going forward and controlling the pieces he could control, and knowing that his opportunity would come, and it came, and he did a great job, as I mentioned after the game, the way he stepped up. And I expect more of that in the future, and more of that from our team as we continue to go here.
All right, thanks, Sean.
Sure.
Hi, Sean. I just want to follow up on the offensive line part of this. Ryan Bates, and he hasn't played a lot, but when he has played, he's played well. Did he show you enough that maybe you end up sticking with him? When you get your guys back to full strength, the two guys that are on the COVID list anyway. I don't anticipate you getting Ike back anytime soon. And also too, what was the exact plan with Deion going into the game, Deion Dawkins? Because it didn't look like he was going to play unless it was an emergency situation, which turned out to be.
Yeah, first on Bates, again, we'll see where this week takes us with who's available, who's not, and what really the offensive coaches feel is the best lineup for us, and we'll see where things are in terms of availability as well. So, and then with Dion, yeah, I mean, we came into the game just thinking, he'd be an emergency backup for us right there, and lo and behold, when Ike unfortunately went down, Dion had to step in and execute, which was good to see.
Thank you.
Sure.
Afternoon, Sean.
How you doing?
Good. With the showing of Bills fans at the airport last night and knowing how much this team means to them, how much of an advantage is it to finish off the regular season at home?
Yeah, it's awesome. It's not something we take for granted. I'll tell you that. We love playing at home, love playing in front of our fans. We get greeted at the airport, probably unlike any team I've ever been around. It's pretty special to see that outpouring of support and love and appreciation for the way the players played yesterday. And so really appreciate that. And we look forward to playing at home this weekend. Just taking it one at a time, and it's always special for us to play here in Buffalo.
Thank you.
Sure.
Hey, Sean, good to see you. I was curious about following up on one of your answers last night. You had mentioned how this is a young team, young leadership group, and how it's so hard to follow up a season like y'all had last year. And I know that's something we talked about so much during training camp ahead of the season, but hadn't heard in a while. So I was just curious how you've seen that show up now that we're 16 weeks into the season.
Yeah, leadership is some of it I think is innate, and that thread of DNA is in someone, but the other side of it is I believe it's developed, and being in a leadership role for some people is new, and you get better at it hopefully with experience and age and everything. And so I just feel like overall our leadership group is continued to grow, just like I do, quite honestly, and we do as a team. And I think that's an important part of developing players, is developing the leadership of the team as well. And I've been very impressed over the last few weeks by the way those guys have led.
And to follow up kind of specifically with the idea of coming off of last season, following that up, how have you seen that leadership group respond in that sense?
Well, it's a different leadership group this year in terms of the captains than last season. It's changed a little bit, and so has the dynamics of the team, right? And just in terms of this year's team being different than last year's team different than the year before. So the leadership challenges year to year, there's some that are similar, but there's a lot of challenges that are different with this season than last season, or last season with the season prior. So I think that's the unique part about a season, and the growing and learning part of a season as a leader, and you can take those things forward and carry them forward into next year by learning through those moments from this past season. I think you only get better from experience.
Thanks.
Sure.
Hey, Sean, two questions for you. First, I know this is something new that's starting this season, but if you were to get requests to talk to Leslie or Brian about head coaching interviews, is that something, how would you kind of approach that sort of thing with that starting tomorrow?
Yeah, I would welcome those opportunities for those men. They've done a phenomenal job for us here in Buffalo, and I would give them my highest recommendations. So want nothing but the best for those guys.
And then I was curious, obviously yesterday you went for the most fourth downs you have in a game. When you're making those decisions, they're quick, you don't have a lot of time to go through everything. What does that look like for you? How do you decide, what goes into that for you when you're making that decision?
Yeah, we do a lot of work leading up to game day and game time with Dennis Locke, our analytics specialist, and Mark Lubick, one of our assistant coaches, and really us three put in most of the time on it. And then during the game, I'm in contact with those two, and so we kind of back and forth at times. But obviously, the ultimate call is mine, and whether it's good or bad. and that's the job of the head coach.
Has it gotten easier to make those decisions as you've been a head coach, or is it kind of still, the same?
Well, I think we were pretty aggressive last season, and look, at the end of the day, whether you're aggressive or not, it's you only usually get a plus grade when it works out, right? So whether you're super aggressive or super conservative, that's just the nature of the job.
Thanks.
Josh Kendall in Atlanta. When you look at Kyle Pitts and get ready for him, do any comparisons come to mind player-wise?
Josh, with all due respect to your question, I've just started Atlanta. I've heard a lot about Kyle and his game, and of course, going through the draft process last year, how celebrated he was as a player. And if I'm not mistaken, he's from the Philadelphia area, I believe, which is where I'm from.
Yeah.
So, so I've heard a lot about him, and he looks like he's off to a great start in terms of what he's been able to do just in his first year here with coach and Matt Ryan under center there. So very impressed in a little bit of tape that I have seen.
More generically, he's the guy that they line up a lot of different places consistently. How difficult is that to prep for as you're trying to match personnel, whether it's Kyle or anybody else that gets moved around a bunch?
Yeah, they're look like they're using him in a lot of different ways, moving him around in terms of the formation and creating mismatches at times. It is a headache anytime you have a player like that you have to defend, that can move around. It is a headache for you as a coach and a coordinator.
Thanks for your time, Sean. Appreciate it.
Sure thing.
Hello, Coach Sean, the Orlando Ledbetter of the Atlanta Journal-Constitution here.
How you doing?
Doing great, Coach. Doing great. Can you discuss the importance of a first-year coach trying to build his culture and some of the successes you all had doing that up in Buffalo?
Well, I think for us, at least, I'll just speak for our situation. We Brandon and myself wanted to come in and try and establish a culture, and Terry and Kim Gula, our ownership group, gave us the green light to do that, and making sure we, got the people part of the equation as close to where we wanted it to be as possible during that first year. And those, those aren't easy decisions, and those are hard situations. And, because people's livelihoods are at stake and on the line there. So, but that was a big point of emphasis for us in that first season.
And just, since we don't get to see you since you're not in the South, but then don't get to see Josh Allen either. Can you discuss or tell the folks of Atlanta what they might be in for with your fine young quarterback?
Well, we're just trying to take it one week at a time here. Each week is a new week, and Josh has a lot to work on, and as do I, and does our entire football team. So, we're just going to try and get better every week. That's really what we're about here.
Thank you, Coach.
Sure thing.
Hey, Coach, what's it going to be like to see Lee Smith back in Buffalo?
Yeah, Lee's, he's had a mark on this organization, made a mark on this organization, 2 different, stints with the Bills, and he's a very well-liked guy in our building here, and really appreciate his leadership that he gave us when I was here, and always nice to see players go on and do great things. And it seems like, just from the film that I've watched, that he's getting quite a bit of playing time, and I know he's closer to home as well down there, which is always good to hear.
Awesome. Thanks.
Sure.